Hello, everybody. How you guys doing out there? It's a sunny day. Nonetheless, let's have a look at some sunny charts, and especially let's talk about the rain that poured down here yesterday, which was completely crazy. Nonetheless, we have produced a descending wedge, which is usually a bullish pattern with a price target of roughly let me show you. I think it was $4,500. We should reach, yeah, exactly. So let me try a bit more precise. Yeah, roughly $4,500 in case we break to the upside. Nonetheless, guys, as we can see with this ascending wedge, which should have been bearish pattern and break down to the downside, it never happened. It broke to the upside. So we have to be a bit careful with crypto. The rules of technical analysis sometimes work work the other way around. So we have to really be careful what's going to happen here. And as always, I'm going to give you not just one pattern. I'm going to tell you it's going to go there, and then on the way up, it's going to stop and drop back down, and nobody knows why. Okay, this is not how technical analysis works. We have a couple of in this case, no, because we are running into more and more all-time highs the higher we go. So there's no support, no resistance so far. But we are actually running more and more as well into support in case we go down, because this former wedge here has been turning into support, and we have this line as well, which is a support line as well. So we can be quite sure that in case we break this line here, we are probably going to go down a bit. Nonetheless, we have a legitimate descending wedge. We have one touch point, or a couple of touch points here, a couple of touch points there, and many touch points here and many touch points there. So that's all good. But according to technical analysis, usually I have to use this wick to the downside as well and include it in the pattern. But with coins, you are sometimes allowed to cut off the wicks from the candles. That is an experience that I've made. I'm a former forex trader. In forex, we would never do this, but we do not have this high volatility in forex. And actually, this volatility, these kind of candles here, is the reason why none of the major traders or the big banks like to go into crypto, because it's just absolutely insane. I mean, this was a 12.5% drop within 1 hour, and then it traced back 10% within just a couple of minutes. I actually was short, but I had a beer outside, so I didn't really see it. And then all of a sudden, I got a liquidation notice. My Bitcoin trade, luckily, was in plus, and I closed it. But my Ethereum trade was in minus, and then I had to. It got liquidated. It was just a small trade, so it was not too big of a problem. Nonetheless, that's the situation on Ethereum. I mean, you could do potentially something like this to find out where we have our next resistance for Ethereum in case we break to the upside. And this actually, let me check. Okay, it's not exactly the one, but we could already by now tell that if we take only this line here and we place that here, that we're probably gonna have, in case of a breakout to the upside, we're gonna have a consolidation around $4,300. All right, and then yeah, that's gonna be probably the next move if we break out to the upside, which a descending wedge should do. But nonetheless, as I already mentioned, the rules for crypto tend to be different sometimes. All right, and we've seen that in this ascending wedge, which according to technical analysis should break to the downside, but it broke to the upside. All right, so let me move on to Bitcoin, because funny enough, exactly the same situation. We have this huge wick from yesterday to the downside that actually almost precise, or it quite closely hit my resistance line that stands at $53,150, $53,200. And we have also created in, let me go in the 1 hour. We have created a descending wedge as well. We have a touch point there, touch points there, a couple of touch points here, touch points here. So it seems to be a legitimate ascending wedge as well. In case we break it to the upside, let me take something like this. It's gonna actually bring us back into this yellow line here. If you watched my last video, the yellow line, I'm gonna switch over to the daily chart in a second, and this is a very, very important line, and it's quite bad actually that we broke it, that we broke to the downside, and the reason being is actually, guys, watch this. You have the all-time high, okay? Then you have this line that I painted already before a long time ago, coming down as the resistance for our from our all-time high. We have resistance here, we have resistance there, and we broke it, so we were all happy. But nonetheless, large resistance at 59,500. We were not able to break it, and we broke to the downside again. And this rising triangle here. Sorry, let me make that a bit more precise. Okay. We have to be careful. It needs to be precise, otherwise we are getting the wrong price information, guys. I'm really sorry for that. Okay. Perfect. So, and now as you can see, we actually broke down. We broke the yellow line. This rising triangle or rising wedge, however you want to call it, was broken, and it was for quite some time a very, very strong resistance line. And that was not too good news, all right? So we are now consolidating actually below the red line, which is a very, very strong line, as I already mentioned, from the all-time high coming down, providing us support or resistance. And we have tried to break up here again, but we didn't mention to. So in my opinion, again, this this descending wedge here should actually break to the upside, but there's gonna be massive resistance that we have to break. Okay, I'm gonna show you why this is all blue now, but this is actually gonna be quite important. So watch this this descending wedge here. In case we break it to the downside, then we have, which is in my opinion actually a quite more likely scenario. I'm not going to take this crazy wick right here, okay? I mean, I should do, but let's not be too much Armageddon style. In case I take this line, then we're going to actually retrace back to the $51,260 mark, roughly, which is bringing us to the major support that we had here, this blue line. And this is, in my opinion, a quite reasonable and legitimate scenario, but we have to be very careful. Now I'm coming to the major point. I'm sorry for these paintings here, but it is very, very important, and I have finally seen a couple of YouTubers talking about that as well. I've been talking about that already, I think 10 days ago in my first video, and it is important to have just not like the small time frame of like 30 minutes, 1 hour, because if you trade in that, then all of a sudden this trade stops and you don't know why, because you have a line or resistance or support line coming from the daily time frame, and you're going to get crashed in that. That's possible. So as you can see, we have this again, the all-time high, and I've created a channel which is actually hitting quite well this candle here and the two candles over there. So in my opinion, it's a legitimate channel. All right, but we also have 2 points over here, which is going to give us, which is giving us another channel that we were actually, after breaking out from this red line, entering, and this whole thing was looking a bit more positive. But nonetheless, this burgundy red line was providing too much resistance, and we couldn't hold it. And we are actually now back in this steeper downward facing channel. Okay, so we need to be a bit careful here. And I've seen today a couple of people talking about this being an AM pattern, being or us trading into a potential W pattern. Okay, this is all possible, but nonetheless, I am still in the same. I still have the same opinion as I had before. If we trade all the way back to the 47,000, watch my previous video, then we have a crazy head and shoulders here. That's looking funny as a crown, actually. I've made a couple of videos about that. And it looks for me at the moment that this is the more likely scenario, because we have reversed the trend over here. We had a nice uptrend. We have reversed it here by breaking out of this blue uptrend channel. And it was actually a wedge. It wasn't a channel. not exactly symmetric, sorry, but we have created a higher high here, and then all of a sudden we've created a lower high, and we've also created a lower low. Okay, and this is, no matter what you find in the charts, what kind of pattern you see, this is a bearish sign. Okay, so this is why this red line here, the burgundy line, which is actually the upper line of this downwards facing channel, for my opinion, is super important. And we have this these two channels lining up here in the cross, and all the time, this is a long time, I mean, we're talking 6th of July approximately, but all the time when you have these lines or channels crossing, there's something major happening. It doesn't mean that if we trade up here at 65,000 that we're going to go all the way down to 39,000, but it just means that there might be some major impulse coming. Okay, in case we do not cross this red line here, that's actually was just flashing pretty nicely, this red line here, then in my opinion, in the longer term, we're going to go down to at least the $45,000 mark roughly. And that is something that I've been, or I mean, you could cut the wicks of the candles again and draw a line here, which would probably bring us roughly to the $47,500 mark, but you should take the wicks as well, okay, because they belong to the candle and they represent a former price move, so that's quite important. So that is not yet it from my side, because in case we really trade into this absolutely nuts head and shoulders pattern, a head and shoulders pattern, guys, is a trend reversal pattern, and it would fit perfectly with the fact that the trend has been reversed after the all-time high, and we've created a lower low and actually a higher low. A lower high and a lower low. So in my opinion, we could reach all the way down. In case we break this head and shoulders pattern, we could reach all the way down to $28,000, and that, I guess, we will have some major resistance here at the $29,700 range. But it is indeed not that too good positive signal. If we have this head and shoulders reversing back to the upside, or if you want to call it an M pattern, whatever you want to do, then we should be roughly at the area of $76,000. It's not drawn too precisely, but roughly in the area of 76,000, which would bring us back into this wedge, and then we would look like crazy, super bullish. And but nonetheless, we have to see how the trend is being created. All right, and that is actually it from my side so far. But I can only tell you, I was like super pissed off yesterday, because we've had this major wick, even though I was short, and then we had this absolutely nuts retracement to the upside again, and it cost me a little bit of money. So it wasn't really too nice, and this is one of the reasons why I actually am not pro leverage trading on coins. And I can only, guys, I know it's a nice opportunity to make money. You see all these people in YouTube promoting different brokers, but let me tell you one thing: it's super crazy and dangerous to trade with these high leverages. Everything above 10, 15x, 20x is going nuts. It's crazy because you're just in a wick like this. Let's give you an example. If we have a 10% fall in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, and you're trading, let me actually tell you exactly how big this fall was. We are at 9%, and it was a 9% wick to the downside. And in case we trade this, let's take a call with a 20% leverage, you are down 180%. Okay, and in professional forex trading, you are supposed to send money to your broker because they're not liquidating your positions. That means you're getting a margin call, and they're going to call you if you have a $10,000 open position open, and you trade 180% in the wrong direction, that you actually have to pay money to your broker to cover the losses. So This is most definitely, I mean, crypto is more like, it's still in an evolving state. I don't want to say like a gambling thing, but it is in a very, very much evolving state. And brokers wouldn't do that. Otherwise, probably they would lose a lot of money because people wouldn't pay the insufficient margin or the damage that they've created. So be careful with that. And this is no trading advice whatsoever. Okay, do not take this as any advice to take any trading decisions or make any trading decisions. And there's many people which are professional traders. I come from the from the foreign exchange market. Previously, I've traded DAX, Dow Jones as well, and I can only tell you, it's what's going on with crypto is absolutely insane. You can make a lot of money with the volatility, but most of the time you will lose, and that is the fact. Especially sometimes the broker is just playing against you. I've compared charts, and the candles look completely different, guys. All right. I've got a friend of mine. We're trading together, and he sent me a photo and said, "Look, Flo, my chart looks completely different than yours. Look at the length, look at the depth of your candles, and mine didn't even reach that target." So a spread does make a difference, but it should make a difference of like $500 or $600 or $700, right? Especially if you have wicks like this was just extremely dangerous, this thing. I hope you guys didn't get ragged, liquidated, whatever how you want to call it, too much here, because I'm pretty sure it must have cost a lot of money for some of you guys, and it costs some money for me as well. Okay, and I'm not just going to be positive that we're going to go all to the moon, to all the way up to, and maybe surpass the moon and go to Saturn or something, but it's just the fact that it's a highly volatile market. I know decentralization, sorry, and the scarcity is something that might bring the Bitcoin price more up, but you need to find people as well to pay for it first. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration a little bit. It's psychology. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for being here with me, and I'm gonna see you soon again. And let's let me wish you a great evening, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye, guys.